you try to be someone you're not. You watch these YouTube celebrities and you try to be, you know, whoever. I think Numan Ali Khan is becoming very, very popular all of a sudden, and he's taking advantage of the media. But a lot of people try to be him, and you can see who is trying to be him, but they're not him, right? I've seen some very, very good speakers who try to be someone they're not, and try to address things the way they, you know, because of the idol kind of worship in a sense of these, you know, celebrity deities, and they don't realize how more effective they could be if just be yourself. You know, if you got good characteristics, everybody has gifts and abilities. Some people are good speakers, some people are very caring. As Abishai was saying, you know, some people might be able to cook, whatever. You know, there's so many ways to just start up a conversation, be friendly, and that's what you got to do. Anybody can get academic knowledge, and you can instill that knowledge and share it, but it's the deeper understanding of the bigger message of what Islam is. It's about our behavior, it's about interacting with each other. You know, I can beat you over the head and convince you that this is the best water to buy in the world versus another brand, but it's just words, right? There's no meaning behind it. So focus on, you know, your heart, focus on what Islam truly is. What is the message of Islam, right? It's a warning. We want Jannah. This is, you know, it's somewhere you want to go. This is what you're going to benefit from. So focus on those types of things. Anybody can argue the academics, but right now in this day and age, people need that deeper, you know, who am I? What do I need? What's my purpose, right? So.
Before I even want to talk about that, let's just talk about the Muslims need dawah. The Muslims need dawah on what Islam is, because most of the Muslims that are born into Islam, this is my opinion, they don't know Islam. They don't know Islam. I'm going to prove it right now. Whoever gets the answer right, they'll get a gift. What is Islam? You guys are all born Muslim, right? I'm obviously can't answer it. What is Islam?
Islam.
Okay, you're close. Huh? What? Oh, very good. Okay, he gets a gift. الإسلام هو الاستسلام لله بالتوحيد وانقياد له بالطاعة وخلوص بالشرك العليم. That's what Shaykh, he's half the Quran, mashallah. And he grew up in Saudi Arabia, so he learned this while he was in school. But if he was brought up in your country, I'm sure he would have learned this. Because this is taught in those institutions. Islam is a complete submission and surrender to Allah. And it is making a disavowalment from shirk and its people. This is the scholastic meaning. So for me, and these brothers here, we try our best to learn what Islam is so we can practice it. Because Allah Ta'ala said, Inna dina indallahi Islam. The only religion that's acceptable with Allah is Islam. So many of us are worried about giving dawah to non-Muslims, which is extremely important. You cannot live in this country unless you're doing some type of dawah. But the question is, what is the dawah? What are you calling to? And when I first became Muslim, okay, I'm just kind of going off here a little bit to the side. I met some brothers, and there's still brothers like that today. The very first thing they said to me was, brother, do you have a madhab? Do you have a madhab? Abu Hafsa, you got a madhab? That's what they asked me. A madhab? What's that? What about tawheed? What about sunnah? What about tazkiyat al-nafs? What about ila akhirihi, to the end? So much topics about Islam. Why do I need to pick a madhab? I just came from Christianity. We used to worship, or we were taught to worship Isa Maryam. Now you want me to come into Islam, bear witness that Muhammad is the final messenger, but then now you want me to go look for somebody else and I got to follow them, but the messenger is right in front of you? Doesn't make any sense. And this is the problem, that most of the Muslims, they don't know really what Islam is. They have a cultural Islam. Okay, I'm not putting this at you guys, but sometimes the eyes of Islam through the new Muslim is so refreshing. For me, when I read books and I study stuff, it's like the day that I accepted Islam, and everything is so new and so refreshing, and I have this thirst. I want to keep knowing more stuff and more points, and I want to memorize these points, so, you know, if I get a chance to do a lecture, then, you know, mashallah, I can bring these points and teach the Muslims. So, first of all, for us to give da'wah, number one, the scholars have said, now you guys should be writing this down, especially the brother who asked this question. Who asked this question?
It was from the sister's side.
Okay, so you guys have a pen? The first thing that you have to do with the da'wah we find from the Prophet ﷺ is alifu. Alifu. Sisters know what that means? Any Arabic speakers from the sisters? Alifu means win the people's heart. To win the people's heart. So if you have a neighbor, you should be nice to the neighbor, you should treat them nice, speak nice words to them, help them out, give them some food, maybe shovel their walk, maybe cut their grass. Have good relationships with your neighbor. This is winning the people's hearts. And the next thing is a'rifu. A'rifu is raising the awareness of the people, teaching them a little bit at a time. Teaching them a little bit at a time, not too much, just a little bit. You can't eat the whole steak at one time when you're a baby. I can eat the whole steak right now, but. And the last one is kalif, tartib, to do it in a succession. You have to teach them things and go step by step in a certain particular order that has what? Wisdom. There's a good brother of mine, good friend of mine. He came into the masjid the day after he took his shahada. This is a brother, his father's from Trinidad, his mother's from Jamaica. It's about maybe 12, 13 years ago. He had dreads down to here. Touch Abu Hafsa's arms so you can see where it is. He had dreads down to here. He came in the masjid, and one of our beautiful brothers who is from the certain country where, anyways, he came in, you seen the brother in the masjid. He's got his dreadlocks in. Like, we always hear this all the time. Like, what? Imagine you're a new Muslim, you just came in the masjid, and an old man is coming and he's pointing at you. You just came into the house of Allah. You just came in there. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. 50-year-old man yelling at you, and you're like 27, you used to be a gangster, used to be a drug dealer, used to be. This brother used to have some serious street credibility. And he's pointing at the brother like this. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, you look like a kafir. He came with. You look like a kafir. In the house of Allah, with the do Allah hairstyle. The brother just became Muslim the day before. Alhamdulillah, I happened to walk in. And I was the brother's senior in Islam by 12 years. And I pulled him aside. And I was able to damage control. Alhamdulillah, Allah sent me there that day. Because that brother said, man, I was ready to knock that dude. I don't know what he was saying. I don't know what he was saying in Kafa. But I knew that was really bad, bro. I wanted to suck him waiting his job. He said, my daughter, this is supposed to be a place of sanction. So alhamdulillah, that brother's been with me now. MashaAllah, the brother, he has 2 wives. He has 6 kids. And mashallah, some of his cousins accepted the dawah. But imagine, he came into the masjid, and he's in the masjid trying to learn about Salat, and the Muslims are kicking him out. Instead of saying, hey, look, you know what? Nice to meet you, brother so-and-so, you're new to Islam? Let me give you brother Gary Larock's phone number. Let me give you brother Abu Hafsa's phone number. Let me give you Abu Shahada's phone number. You know, these brothers used to be non-Muslim and they became Muslim. These are the best guys to talk to. They'll help you with your Islam. They'll put you in the right direction. Because we've already been down many roads before, so we can help this guy. But if you, brothers and sisters, want to get involved in dawah, do you even know what dawah is? A dawah in Allah. It's extremely important, brothers. This question is extremely important because most people, they're not given any real dawah. And Yawm Qiyamah, there's a very scary ayah in the Quran. I don't remember it. Maybe Abu Hafsa got the ayah. But it talks about the issue. Yeah, Sheikh. Sheikh, what's the ayah about kitman al-ilm? You know the ayah about kitman al-ilm? It's called hiding the knowledge. There's Muslims that have moved here to get benefit only for themselves, and they could care less about Bob, Sally, and Susie. So yes, you have to give some dawah, but you have to become educated on giving the dawah. And as Abu Hafsa said, there's courses out there, but now how you translate the information from those courses to actually dealing with the people, this takes, and here's a difference that I just learned recently. I knew about the word called khibra, which means experience, but there's another word in the Arabic language that's called experience too. It's called tajriba. And there's a difference in the language. You have to know how to use this information and how to have experience to deal with the people. With that, barakallahu feekum wa salaamu alaykum.
I have another question. So this is for all the panelists. So
How's your dad, Sheikh?
oh, he's good.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking.
Yeah.
So this is for all the panelists. I was just wondering, like, what were some obstacles when you guys were seeking knowledge, and how do you guys overcome it? Like the true knowledge. Like, 'cause there can be.
That's another lecture.
Yeah, just if you could like.
Hey, Hafsa, we gotta come back here next month to talk about that.
I think we'll wrap up the segment with that question.
Okay.
If you guys could just like.
Is it? Come on, man. This has got a bunch of questions. I know that.
But it's just due to time.
Anyway, alhamdulillah. I don't know. if you want something bad enough, there really are no obstacles. Like I said earlier, I wanted to be a professional wrestler. That was my thing. Before Islam, my religion was wrestling. It was. I would eat, sleep, breathe. I would plan matches in my head. I would do a bunch of stuff. And it all revolved. I never did drugs. Not because drugs were bad. I could really care less. But I was afraid of getting tested. So I couldn't wrestle. I got grades in school, even though I thought most of what I studied was stupid, because I didn't want to get kicked off the wrestling team, out of the wrestling league. Everything I did revolved around that. So when everything that you do revolves around learning Islam and learning Quran and learning the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, there really are no obstacles. There are issues that may come up and you may have to deal with that, but it becomes imperative for you that knowledge doesn't become a want, it becomes a need. It becomes more important than the air you breathe. That's how I was before Islam, and that's how I'm trying to be now, and it's just the traveling now has become an issue, not an obstacle, an issue. So that's my thing on that. Just, if you want something bad enough, if you want to memorize the Quran, can't nobody stop you. Allah will give it to you. If you take those steps and you do what you're supposed to do, Allah will open the way. And it doesn't matter if you can't see, and it doesn't matter that you're not an Arab, it doesn't matter that you're from Nova Scotia, it doesn't matter if you're too short, too tall, there's nothing, there's no obstacles. Inshallah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. In terms of knowledge for me, it was a struggle at first, trying to find true knowledge. Even now, after 8 years, I still struggle with what I'm reading today. Is this really going to be the same as what I find out tomorrow? For example, I spent 6 months initially, because I'm an IT guy. I'm always, I turn to the internet. I'm impatient in some sense. I want to get the knowledge right away. So I'm always reading. Like I was Shahada, I really love books. I invest as much as I can. When I can't get books, I do turn to the internet. So I spent 6 months reading from a site, and I was talking to brothers, and eventually they were like, "Where are you getting all this stuff from? Like, what is this?" It was like they were totally against the Sirah, they were totally against Hadith, but I had no concept of this in the first couple of years. I had madhabs. I used to argue with madhabs. Like he was saying, I just accepted Islam, and now you want me to give up Prophet Muhammad and start following Abu Hanifa? Who is this guy? I don't even know who this guy is, right? Now I do pray Hanafi just because that's how I learned, right? But that's part of the process. I live in a community that's very big, very strong Pakistani community. So that influence from their culture, I just started praying that way. And to this day, I just pray the Hanafi time because that's what I learned. But my focus has always been, as I said in my story before, was what I learned today. And I think it was Dr. Bilal Phillips who I've taken a lot of courses at Islamic Online University, and his approach was always to say, take what you know, right? What you know to be correct, take that. What you don't know, what you have doubtful, just put it aside. And as you continue to learn, more and more I'm taking this doubtful stuff and it's coming into the truth pile, right? The stuff that I know is clearly false, right? If somebody comes and tells me that it's okay for me to start drinking alcohol, right? Or I don't have to pray 5 times a day. If I just think of the Prophet Muhammad, that counts as, there's people that talk about these types of things. So you say, it doesn't sound right to me, push it aside, and I'll deal with it later, right? So this is just my approach. Unfortunately, a lot of new Muslims don't get into that. They get caught up in details too quickly. But from a Dawah perspective, as we're kind of mentioning and alluding to here, is just don't push. Just, say, look, it's okay. If you don't understand hijab now, don't worry about it. When a sister, for example, starts wearing khimar and, starts dressing more modestly, and same thing with the brothers, when you understand that concept. Like now, when I think of hijab, I think of the practice of hijab for both men and women, because it applies to both of us, right? So it just comes in time, so don't push people, be patient, and remember, what I know today, be humble about it. I'm not an expert. 10 years from now, things I know about Islam may change once I get better knowledge in Arabic, for example. Right? When I start to really get that kind of deep information, it's going to come in time. Look, the Prophet ﷺ wasn't even like, here's the Quran, he knew everything. It didn't work that way. He made decisions and he made choices, and then afterwards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, well, no, that wasn't the best choice. This is what you should have done in this situation, right? Even the prophets and messengers had to go through this. So just be humble with what you get, learn, accept it, and be flexible. As you learn more, and you know it and you feel it to be correct based on the knowledge you get, then you apply it. And then tomorrow, when you find out, well, that was a mistake, correct it, and then just adapt the new knowledge and move on. That's my approach.
Quick verse. Allah Ta'ala said, Qul Rabbi Zidni Ilma. This is the order that Allah Ta'ala told the Prophet ﷺ, and the Prophet ﷺ used to ask for an increase in knowledge. This is Mustafa al-Amin Sadiq al-Masduq. He used to ask Rabbul Izzah al-Alim al-Hakim, the all-knowing, the all-wise, oh Allah, increase me in knowledge. He wasn't commanded to ask for more wives. He wasn't commanded to ask for more gold, more horses, more this, more that. He asked for more knowledge. So the scholars of Islam, they have said, al-ilmu qabl al-qawli wal-amal. It takes knowledge before speech and action. So if you want to do dawah, you want to seek knowledge, you got to get a certain level of knowledge. The scholars, they've said, al-ilmu shajara wal-amalu thamara. That the tree is the knowledge. But it has to have what? Fruits. Fruits are our actions. So from the knowledge that we have to learn, and this is something that unfortunately, when we're seeking knowledge, there is something that some people, they put first, and this is usually the Hanafi, Sufi brothers, but it's from Islam. They have something called adab. Adab is important, but you need ikhlas before you can get adab. So depending upon who you study with, they're going to put certain things first. So ikhlas, you got to have ikhlas lillahi ta'ala. And this is something that some of the scholars, they used to say, amongst them was Imam Shafi. He said that I perfected every single science of Islam, perfected it, except for ikhlas. Hassan al-Basri, he said that I have, imagine the level of these people that are talking to him. He said, I have not stepped forward, and I have not stepped backwards. I have not spoken or remained silent unless I ask myself, am I doing this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah Ta'ala says, Alillahi din al-khalis. Is this not the sincere religion is due? So first, if you want to get the knowledge, we have to know why we're getting the knowledge. First of all, the first thing the scholars say is, izalatul juhala, to take ignorance off of ourselves. That should be the first reason why we learn. Then, what? Ad-da'watu ilayhi, as-sabr al-adab. See, we have to first of all call to the dawah and be patient upon that. So now once you get out and you give dawah, you're going to get out in the arena of giving dawah or teaching people. People are going to come up to you and say, hey, you're a new Muslim. Where did you study? You don't know nothing about Islam. Why are you telling us? Why are you taking the microphone? And mashallah, me and Abu Hafsa, we get a chance to give khutbahs sometimes some places. And we bump into people that come up to us and they want to argue with us all types of points. We say, look, brother, this is what I studied. If you have something that you can share with me, then share with me. But Allah bless me with the microphone today. I did a little bit of research, and now I'm giving my presentation. Inshallah ta'ala, maybe the organization will allow you to have a microphone, and then maybe we can send a couple brothers to come and critique you. So the problem is these days that we have people that don't know what a real scholar is to begin with. There's people that I know in the city that I consider extremely knowledgeable, but they're unknown by the masses of the people because they're not looking for hubb al-jah, hubb al-ri'asa, hubb al-ba, hubb al-nisa. They're not looking for the microphone, they're not looking for position, they're not looking for women or money. They're very happy worshiping Allah by themselves. That's their intention. But maybe they might fall into kitman and hiding the knowledge. And I questioned some of my teachers, said, why are you not out? You should be teaching. You can at least teach me. If you don't want to teach the group of people, that's fine. But hey, look, I got some questions I want to ask you. And they're extremely knowledgeable. Then you have the brothers, they said, some of the celebrity people. And this is one of the things that we have to be careful, and me and Abu Hafsa, we remind each other all the time, that we didn't come into Islam to try to do it, to get in front of the camera, even though that getting in front of the camera and using the microphone, these are ways, these are what they call masayib. These are ways to spread the dawah. But we have to keep correcting our intention every single day. So before you even want to go to study, you have to know, why are we studying? Then after that, as we say, akhlasahu wa aswabuhu, akhlasahu wa aswabuhu, akhlasahu wa aswabuhu. Why are we doing things, and are we doing it the right way? All our actions have to be in accordance to the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And seeking knowledge is something very, very serious. And we can find much wisdom in the hadith of Jibreel alayhi salatu taslim about Islam, Ihsan, and Iman. And how the angel Gabriel came down and the Prophet was sitting in a certain way, wearing a certain type of clothing. He asked him certain types of clothing, there was certain adab, and then he kept learning, he kept learning, he kept learning. Remember the Prophet, he had a teacher, and his teacher had a teacher. So this is one of the most important things. If you want to learn Islam, you have to get a really good teacher who cares about you. And he wants you to progress, and he wants you to grow. A teacher, in Arabic they call it a murabbi. And the murabbi's job, I'm going to end it soon inshallah, is to give tarbiyah to awlad, or tarbiyah to the Muslims, to raise and cultivate the people. I'm going to end it with a statement, inshallah ta'ala, of Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi, rahmatullahi alayhi, where he quoted in his book, Iqtida' wa Amal, Imam al-Hasan al-Basri. He said, and for the Ahl al-Arab, maybe you get some benefit from this, he said, حمة العلماء الرعاية وحمة السفهاء الرواية. He said the endeavor of the scholar is to nurture the people and to help the people and to raise the people, whereas the endeavor of the ignorant one is to give the people lots of narrations. And this is something that we have to be careful that we say and teach too much, because sometimes too much information is what they call knowledge. Psychologists call it knowledge vomit. And just short circuits. Because you guys are living in an instant, this world here, this is where you guys live here, right? See this world right here? What is this world called? What is this world called?
Smartphone.
Smartphone, right? I bet that probably maybe only 4 or 5 of the brothers that studied overseas, that if I was to give them a 100-page book, that they would read it within 1 or 2 days. Most of the Muslims can't read a book at all about Islam. So brother, how bad do you want the knowledge? You have to thirst for it. With that, jazakallahu khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.